Hey guys, running Kimono here. So it is the 14th of April today. Happy Tuesday. Hopefully you guys are at home and being really safe. And I wanted to make a video on this. I believe it was like 2 or 3 weeks back when everybody started to get locked down in all most of the states. Um, a friend of mine over on Instagram, Savvy Rican Diva. If you want to go follow her, she posts a lot of great cooking videos too. Just a very nice lady, and you know, does a lot of homesteading stuff, making candles, like cooking stuff from scratch. Just a really inspirational lady. I'll leave her Instagram in the notes if you want to go follow her. But she posted this, and I thought it just really struck a nerve, and I'm like, yeah. For all the married couponers that had their husbands complaining and nagging about us stockpiling, are they still complaining? Question mark. And then she wrote, not a single complaint from mine. And then this is smiley face, happy face, 100%. We won the war, ladies. And, this is really sort of like tongue in cheek, but yet I know that for a lot of us, and I'm sorry, I know there's male couponers who watch my channel, you might not be able to really relate unless your partner nags you about this sort of stuff. But I know a lot of us, for the most part, if you're going and doing the same repetitive deals week after week after week, there can be a little bit of tension amongst the couples, especially if you have a limited amount of space or they just don't understand the hobby. And I thought she really hit the nail on the head with this one because I think a lot of us can relate. A little backstory of myself, I could just talk about this personally. My husband really never got this whole couponing thing, and he's not the husband who's come to the store with me. He's been supportive in other ways where he's driven me to the many different stores, especially during a Dollar General 50% off event. But we're really not two peas in a pod, and he comes couponing with me and he gets this because he really doesn't. He's never tried to understand it. I've tried to show him the math a couple times and he just looks at me like it's like, it's hard for him to understand. And a couple times, even on Instagram, I've told him, if you just want to unfollow me, that's like totally cool because, yeah, I'm telling my own spouse to unfollow me on Instagram because it's just I post a lot of stuff that's coupon related or the math for matchups. I used to do a lot more of that back in the day, but not so much anymore. And it's repetitive if you have somebody putting 20 posts about one store that you don't really care about for coupon deals, and that's just flooding your feed for the whole weekend. It's just not a lot of fun. So like any family friends, if they unfollow me or block me on Instagram, I don't really care because it's like a different language. And for some of you who've tried to explain to either a spouse or maybe a close family member or friend, this whole thing of couponing, if they're coming into this and having no idea, or they just can't follow the basic math and how we try to make things work, it can be like looking at something in a different language. And I fully get that. But my husband, when I first started out, because I've been doing this for just under 10 years, I think initially he just wasn't really sure, and he wasn't sure why I was going every weekend and doing the same deals and trying to build up like paper and like the basics, certain types of cleaner and shampoo. And, I just could not get enough, but he just was like, what? He just didn't understand it. And I think initially a couple times we got into it, and he was just like, why do you keep doing the same thing over and over again? And this is before my Instagram or my YouTube channel. I mean, I was just couponing for our household. And I think I was going really hard at a Target and they had some sort of deal like a long, long time ago that if you spent $15 on health and beauty stuff like shampoo, razors, that kind of stuff, you would get $5 off. And then you could stack that with coupons. So I was getting like a ton of Olay and just like the greatest hits of everything for like nothing. And I think so it was like a 7-day offer that they had with this with the cartwheel back in the day. This is like probably like 6 years back or 7 years back. And I really went hard on this deal. And my husband didn't fully understand it. And I think maybe like the 8th or 9th time I went to the store and did one of these deals, he kind of said to me, he's like, well, you just did it all the week. So why are you getting more body wash? And at this point, I was really trying to build a second stockpile for my mom. So I was trying to get all these scent-free Olay and, trying to get her 12 so she'd be good for a year, that sort of thing. And he kind of said to me, like, I don't understand it. Because anytime we would go out, even for dinner, or if we just had to, I would, go there before or after work. He just wasn't sure why I just kept going to this one store and repeating the same deal over and over again. And I kind of said something to him at that point. I said, You know, just because you don't understand something doesn't mean that it's wrong or it's dumb. And then at that point, he just kind of listened to me, and then he's never questioned me since. But I kind of just said it to him straight, like, because this isn't your hobby and you're not really sure about it, it doesn't mean you can criticize this or not understand the value of this. And the value of this for me to help my mom out, my mom's up in Canada, if she would go and buy one Olay body wash, that's anywhere between um, $7 to $12 for one, for a product that's usually like $5 here in the US. And so with some sort of like coupon and deal at a store like Target, getting it for next to nothing back when I used to be a Target shopper. So it was stuff like that. And I just kind of laid it to him. And it wasn't like a huge like fallout screaming match, but after I said that, I said, because you don't understand how this works, it doesn't mean that it's wrong or it's bad. And of course, my mom used all the body wash because it was her favorite kind. And he just kind of let it go. But that being said, I think that sometimes that a lot of us are in this position where, the eyeball rolling happens every Saturday when the Dollar General bags show up and you're buying all the same stuff. But in a situation that we are in today, where a lot of us, especially if you live in a smaller town, they might not be restocking that toilet paper, or there's like 2 rolls that go out at 7 in the morning and then they're gone. I have not been out, guys, since about St. Patrick's Day to any store, so I haven't even seen it. But my understanding is that the stock is really slow in smaller towns, especially if you live very rural, that the trucks haven't been coming as fast. So we don't know how long it's going to be where there's going to be, a big shortage on toilet paper. So for every Saturday that we were going out and throwing in a Cottonelle or a Charmin into your Dollar General 5 of 25, and you have that little stash of toilet paper, I don't really think that was the worst thing to be stocking up on. And is this an aha, I told you so moment? Perhaps, maybe. Or you might not just say anything and your spouse might come to you and say, hey, look, I kind of made a mistake and I really never saw the value of couponing and you've really saved our household. And I heard that multiple times in the last couple of weeks. My husband came to me and he's like, I had no idea. And my husband knows I'm also in a different kind of position because I show these tutorials on YouTube. And, it's a very visual sort of hobby. So I have to go out and physically go and do the deal that, I had to collect this stuff. And we share it with immediate and extended family and friends. So a lot of it's going out there. But yeah, it's just a very weird thing. And I never said once, hey, I told you so. This was like, the hobby to do. But he never really realized, like, we've never gone through anything like this in his lifetime or my lifetime where there's a shortage of toilet paper. Like, never. So it's just a weird thing, but just throw it in your back pocket, that if you ever have somebody like a spouse or somebody who you're living with that doesn't understand what you're doing, and if they're going to start giving you the gears or say, like complaining or nagging at you about this hobby, in an emergency, that's why we're stockpiling. And all of the clearing that happened in the middle of March with the toilet paper at various stores, it wasn't couponers that did that, because we would never spend like $16-17 on a big thing of toilet paper at a Sam's Club or Costco. We usually get it for points or very little on a Saturday with a 5 off of 25. So that wasn't us. But over a longer period of time, if you can collect toilet paper at various stores, that's something that a lot of us did. And that's why we have a stockpile today. So anyhow, guys, I hope this video has been somewhat helpful to you. This isn't the greatest I told you so moment where you can, throw your finger or point at somebody and say, I was right there. And don't ever point. That's so rude. I always tell my husband whenever he points at me, I'm going to break his fingers off, because I think that's a very astute comment. I hate that pointing thing. But, it's just one of those things that I think a lot of us, we would never have seen this in a million billion years. And this is such just a unique and odd situation to be in. And yet, I know a lot of us are helping out our families, even if it's just giving like 1 roll at a time to a family member, throwing it in their mailbox and helping them out. And I know that a lot of my friends who do reselling over on Instagram, they've stopped essentially selling toilet paper, because a lot of us, we know that that's a commodity that might be really hard to stock up in the future. Like, we don't know stores, how they will be stocking it up, or will it just be one per customer? And even if it's one per customer, we could still do something with that because we're couponers, and that's our secret power to get the stuff for next to nothing. And but just what does the future hold? None of us know. Anyhow, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I just think that for a lot of us who are, married or living with somebody who didn't really understand extreme couponing, and I know a lot of you can relate to this, it is a very weird situation to be in. And my husband isn't, the kind of guy to, we have these conversations about thoughts and feelings and stuff like that, because he is the strong silent type. But for him to say, hey, you know what? You really did the right thing with this couponing thing. I mean, just very shocked by that, and very like, wow, he even sees the value of couponing, and that was shocking to me. Anyhow, guys, as always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.